American Civil Liberties Union. You have right to due process. Like ICE people, like think about that. Look, Fifth and 14th Amendment, and Fourth Amendment. You have to have a judge's warrant to be able to go into a place, signed by a judge, not an executive warrant, not just some Trump ordering, and it's not a felony. That's why Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is saying, when ICE comes around, get out your camera and video, even though Kristi Noem is telling people, no, that could be a felony. Just like Putin, when he started the war, in almost 4 years now. This is so crazy. When he started the war, no, if you call it a war, then you could spend up to 15 years in prison. And all the more reason to be your self-actualized self. You fully realize, like, who were you born to be? How were you meant to bless Earth? How are you meant to help things make better while still being yourself and still jamming out, still being meditative and having hopefully beautiful, beautiful time with your family? Who were you born to be? Who were you born to feel the heart of? It's everyone that is singing in everyone else. That's how we get through. Noticing the meditative jamming qualities of nurturing. The nurturing of all beings lives in everyone. Even if folks have taught to be cruel, they've taught to be cruel, they've taught to be cruel, been taught to be cruel, but they don't want to be cruel. They don't want to be cruel. It doesn't feel right. Their conscience is gnawing at them as they're working for ICE. Let all the family members of ICE members, if you're an ICE recruit and you got a $50,000 bonus, it's like, let family, instead of going, oh, let's share in your bonus. You'd like to think there's so many family members that are like, we want to be able to look at you. We want you to be able to look at yourself in a mirror years from now and not be cruel. Just like all the people, during the 60s that were holding up like horrific N-word signs, even in the 50s, not letting to get, sorry, we don't want to allow our neighborhood to be integrated because we were taught that we were better than other people. And nobody's better than anybody else. There's so much happiness waiting for you the second you notice that everything is alive and singing with the love light of Earth, and nobody's more important than anybody else. So we're taught from the beginning. It's like, it's true. You can say, oh, well, then you'll never leave your seat because you're worried about stepping on whatever might be living that's too tiny, like ordinary Zoo to see. But then you could be like wonderful folks in India, like the Jain tribe, Jain Jain tribe, where they'll put like cheesecloth over their face at night, to want to be so kind not to accidentally inhale insects. They'll sweep in front of them so not to step on insects. If you're ever in the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, Metropolitan Museum in New York, like at 79th, 80th, 81st, near the Alice in Wonderland sculpture, not far from there in Central Park. It's like when you walk in, and then on the right, there's this Asian part and you begin to go up to the stairs and you'll meet amazing stuff from Tibet there too. But there's the wooden carvings on the staircase, along the staircase as you go up. That's the Jain tribes. You didn't mean to be scared to feel the heartlight of all your enemies. How does someone get to be an enemy? Everyone's born the most amazingly important child of some mother. Having said that, stop trying to control women's bodies and tell them, no, you must have this baby. We don't care what you do with the baby. We'll let your baby starve. We'll cancel your Head Start programs. All this language that's in present Head Start programs. It's so anti-DEI. It's so anti-Native peoples. It's so anti-women. It's so anti-immigrant. It's so anti-disability. It's like, if you think Trump's not cruel, and nobody's born to be cruel, but look at the cruelty. Look at what's happened to the Smithsonian Institution. It's so many museums and the National Park Service and all the language, all the honoring of people of darker skin color and women, and native peoples that were genocided by just the expansion of European folks, just a lot of them just trying to escape religious persecution where they were. And then think about that. Think about, like, if you're in a religion that it doesn't allow you to go to war. Think of, you got to make more Mennonite friends. I'm always saying, like, forget what I'm saying, talk to every indigenous grandmother about it, and just like find some common ground. Having said that, there's a lot of like, you know, a lot of folks, like if you travel, you know, you have the most beautiful time, and, you know, but then if you, oh, that happened, what was it? I was traveling with my sweetie. I fell in love with, and that's how I dropped it. We fell in love at the end of third semester before fourth semester began, and then I traveled down with Maggie to Southern California and then back up to Northern. But we were staying with these folks over in Southern California, and when they found, I think it was her diaphragm in her backpack, it was just, she left it out or something. It was like, just, oh no, you're gone. You guys are gone. Your backpacks are now. When we got back from having from some exploration or some breakfast or something, we were just gone. But it led to whatever next blessings. But there's so much joy for you when you stop trying to control other people. Like, look up Fistula Foundation, Mackenzie Scott, who has given away billions and billions after getting the divorce from Jeff Bezos, gave all this money to, so you could say, oh, well, they're more covered. But look into Fistula Foundation anyway. Just like I was saying before, look into abortionfunds.org, you know, because the folks have to travel so many states to be able to get an abortion, you know, and hopefully, you know, and the kind of punishment, you know, you say, oh, well, we could put you on trial for murder because, you know, you went ahead with this. My God, you know, and to say, it's disingenuous to say, oh, they have a heartbeat, you know, it's 6 weeks. It's not a heartbeat. I mean, how tiny is it? You know, it's something that will become. And if you are a person who thinks that no woman that you know, no family member or other women that you know have had an abortion, why don't you start growing so much compassion that they'll feel safe to tell you that they did have an abortion, and instead of being all judgy, you'll notice that they've lived with that decision for the rest of their life, and they've maybe had so much ceremony, so much well-wishing for wherever that being that needs to be born, well-wish it for it to be born to some other mother who can afford to give it the kind of care, you know? Because imagine, I mean, if you're about to give birth in Gaza, you know, it's like the kind of prenatal care that you deserve, and you don't bomb 36 hospitals. You know, you wouldn't bomb your own hospital in your own neighborhood. You wouldn't deny. It's like, I mean, that's in the law, you know. If you, it's just it. Well, it's a, forget, as I said, just it's the law of your heart. You know what's right. You meet someone you've been taught to hate, be so scared of, but you're trapped in an elevator with them, and suddenly you're feeling their heart, you know? Suddenly you're rooting for them as a fellow human being. And hopefully you carry that with them, as opposed to when the elevator finally gets rescued and you're like, okay, that's it. I'm never going back to being kind again. It's like, no, I swear you will have better dreams, a happier life. It's more, you know, boosting for your immune system. It feels better to care. It really feels better to care about folks. It just feels better when you suddenly grow some compassion. Where did that foot pedal go? I'm so lost today. I'm trying to do the elongation of the note here. It's upside down. Sorry. Turn into something kind. Turn into something kind. You will feel better when you turn into something kind. You won't be trying to block out your pain by watching the game. You won't be trying to block out your pain by watching the John Wayne Marathon. But ever since he died, he's taken back what he said in the Playboy interview about his feelings of the white superiority, like opinions he had. He just like, nobody's born to be racist. Nobody's born to be racist, you know. Just like, and he died as early as he did because all these people that were exposed to radioactive fallout from nuclear testing, because where they filmed when he played Genghis Khan, so many people died early who were on that crew. You know, because, you know, and the governments, Democrat, Republican governments, just stonewalled. And it took from the 50s, all these nuclear tests in the 50s, 40s and 50s, mostly the 50s. It took until JFK finally said, no, have underground testing. But just the way it circles around the globe. So that's why, like in Brookhaven Labs and the end of in Suffolk County, Long Island, they had a thing where they asked parents to send in their baby's teeth. When the baby teeth comes out before the new teeth come in, and the reason I'm saying it is there's a radioactive thing, strontium 90. So the high levels of strontium 90 were in the baby teeth from the fallout, from the weather patterns, just depositing, the horror show of the radioactivity. So that if humans were eaten like animals are eaten, then you wouldn't have passed USDA inspection because, oh, sorry, you got too much radioactivity in you. And I mean, you could say, okay, we're all mutants, and way over 90% of people have all this microplastics in the blood, and just maybe having microplastics in the blood. Plastic is from millions of years ago. Those were plants, and those were dead dinosaurs. That's what makes up it's in mineral oil or plastics. It's just. That's why if you're with someone and they keep putting Vaseline on themselves to have the smooth skin, notice they're choking off the pores, though. In the same way, if you're addicted to chapstick, because it's petroleum product is like the base thing of it. So instead of beeswax, you have petroleum product. So it's the people that are addicted to, if you get chapped lips because you put on the petroleum product and then it dries out and then you Jones for it. You need more petroleum product put on, as opposed to like, no, I don't need that. I'd rather sit and feel the wind. Having said that, I hope you have clothing that could block out the harsh winds from off your mouth, or just to protect your whole rest of your wonderful face here. If you're wondering where I'm looking out, because somebody had some thing that the smell was so tough on me, so open, even though it's like below freezing here, have the this miracle, I must be generating so much heat because I started out with the hoodie before, and thankful the hoodie is included in the building. Oh my God, right? All the people that are freezing in winter, Ukraine and Gaza and always in Syria, all these places, just that are struggling, and it won't ruin your day. It'll make your day better if you get practiced at just thinking about some folks. You may never get to the country, you may never meet the people in person, but you're just waiting for miracles, for folks to feel the warmth, folks who are starving and waiting for humanitarian aid trucks to come through. But they don't know why, but they feel more fed. They're not focused on the heartbreak of their hunger, so then they could be more gently reassuring to their baby in their arms.